Good Sunday morning and welcome to Inside Tennessee. My colleague John North with us, and Don Bosch, who's a Democrat and runs his own law firm. Good to have you with us.
Good morning.
The other panelist, who is a Republican who we wanted to have with us, did have an emergency. They're okay, but that's why we have a Democrat. So we have with us this morning Mark Cunningham, the guest, someone we've seen before with the Beacon Center of Tennessee, because they're out with a new poll. The Beacon Center is a nonpartisan, nonprofit, independent group based in Nashville. But Mark, you do take some criticism for having an agenda. Explain the Beacon Center quickly and whether you do have an agenda.
Sure. Well, our agenda is to make sure that Tennesseans are informed, and that's what we do here. Ultimately, like you said, we're nonpartisan, nonprofit. We are a free market think tank, which means that we work with Republicans on some issues, we work with Democrats on some issues, but ultimately we say that we're consistent while the parties are not. So, you have people who loved our poll this time, who hated it last time, and really, we get accused of being partisan by both sides. So we just look at the results, and, we're happy to stand on our results rather than, fight with these political fights.
Mark, thank you. Let's get to the results right now. Again, this is a statewide poll with more than 1,500 people asked a question. The first one is on that all-important U.S. Senate race. Senator Blackburn is running for re-election against Gloria Johnson, who is a state representative from Knoxville. You see the split there, 45%, Johnson 29%. And your headline in this one is that the big lead for Blackburn continues. Explain what you're seeing in those numbers.
Yeah, so Blackburn is still up by a lot. 16 points is great, but I will note that Gloria Johnson actually cut into her lead. It was 20 last time, and there is still 26% of voters who say they are undecided. So while Blackburn, is clearly a big favorite based on the tilt of the state, her approval rating, Gloria Johnson is making some headway and is trying to make this competitive. So it'll be interesting, and, it's going to depend on who can get those undecided voters. If Gloria Johnson gets 70, 75% of them, it could be a real race. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there.
And you will have another poll on this question before we see August roll around. Is that right?
We will. In July, we will have that.
So we'll be watching. Don?
And Mark, tell our viewers what, in Gloria's race, how is she doing in the primary relative to her opponent from Memphis? Because as I remember last time, that was pretty close. In fact, Marquita may have been a bit ahead in last quarter's poll, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, well, Gloria was up by 30 last time as well, but Marquita did do better head-to-head versus Marcia, which we talked about.
Right.
The one issue that both of these candidates need to worry about is 52% of Democratic primary voters are undecided. And Marquita Bradshaw's name is first on the ballot, so that's something to look out for. Gloria Johnson still has a commanding lead, but she's up 38-7 among decided voters, but that 52% will be really interesting. And again, if these people vote, but they're undecided, they might say, well, Marquita Bradshaw's first, let me vote for her.
There may be a lot of undecided, but I almost wonder, Mark, if it isn't too late for Marquita that Gloria has such a lead. Right. And here we are sitting in April, mid-April, that it's just too late. I mean, August 1's looming.
It's going to be tough, especially because she has no money. So obviously, I would bet a lot of money on Gloria Johnson. We put the odds on it, but you never know. And again, if people go in and they say, I'm not decided, and Gloria seems to be focused on the general election where, this primary is still happening, but she is in really, really good shape. And these numbers are actually pretty good for Representative Johnson based on our poll last time.
All right, let's get to more numbers from this poll. The next slide that we're going to look at is coming up on your screen now, and this has to do with the presidential race. And the race, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, and you see there at the bottom, that is Robert Kennedy. And you see, what about these numbers changed from the last poll?
Well, Biden's picked up some steam. He was down 26 in this three-way race last time, and he was down 32 in a head-to-head race. But he picked up 6 and 7 points. So, I mean, that's good news for him. And ultimately, Robert F. Kennedy is still a thorn in the side, mostly of Donald Trump, we see in this case. And I said kind of before the show, but what's really, really interesting is among African-American voters, Robert F. Kennedy actually leads. He takes 45% of the vote to Biden's 24 and Trump's 22. So he is a real spoiler. It'll be interesting what party he spoils, because I see in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin, he's actually taking away more from Biden. So he is a real player in this race.
But Mark, isn't it important when we're dealing with these statistics? We're talking about Tennessee polling. So I don't think it's a real surprise that Trump is up substantially. And Kennedy, while he's going to have an interesting effect nationally, really it probably isn't going to matter much at the end of the day when it comes to Trump versus Biden and who gets the nomination.
That's probably correct, and but that is potential voters who say I might be a conservative,
Right.
but I don't like Donald Trump, and because he's safe to win the state, likely I can put my vote towards RFK Jr. kind of as a protest vote. So it'll be interesting to see how much of that happens.
Is RFK Jr. making much of an indentation with independents? Because increasingly these days, that's kind of your mystery group, and they could be spoiler or what have you. They could be friend or foe for you.
Yes, and he is. I mean, ultimately, right now, that's a big portion. That is his main base, is this independent, base. And, it'll be interesting to see. But a lot of people who just don't like both candidates, we've polled this before, neither Biden nor Trump really has a very good approval rating. So they're looking for a third option. And whether or not they know about Robert F. Kennedy's policies or not, it doesn't really matter. They just are saying, I'm voting for somebody else. And that's the guy who's there right now.
We're going to take a quick break on Inside Tennessee. Back with more from the Beacon Center poll right after this with Mark Cunningham joining us from Nashville.